I'm going to get ready to put these into some cells and germinate them for the grow rooms. Now, I have zucchinis. So I saw that zucchinis can grow fruit because they have both the male flower and the female flower on the same plant, and you can self-pollinate them. So they have to be pollinated, and the insects usually do it. But I seen that for in greenhouses, people will go ahead and take the pollen off of the male flower that grows on the same plant as the female flower, and then you put that pollen onto the female flower, all on the same plant. And just like the strawberries, I'll go ahead and get my brush and I'll do that like as if the insect did it, and then hopefully get the zucchinis growing indoors. I have this one here, the gray, and then I have down over here Black Beauty. So I'm super excited about those. I'm going to get those ready to go. Over here I have rutabagas, which I'm going to grow for the greens. I have parsley, rooted parsley. That is also for the parsley tops and possibly the root if it forms nice. And then cinnamon basil. Cinnamon basil is amazing. Tastes great. It's a good sleep aid. I read up on that a little while back. It says Caribbean red habanero hot peppers. That's the tree I have up there now, the red pepper tree. I just wanted to mention that. I'm probably not going to grow any more of those because I even have second generation seeds sprouting up there right now. But I am going to put in this orange habanero seeds to try to get those ones. I want to have at least one tree of that. And then this kale, I want to have more kale, so I'm going to put in more kales. And then spinach, so New Zealand spinach. And then this one is an amaranth, Chinese multicolor spinach, which I believe is an amaranth, but grows like spinach and tastes a lot like it. So that will be interesting. And then lavender, I want to have that too. That's edible and it will likely smell really nice. So all these things I have here that I'm getting ready to get sprouted up for the grow rooms. The zucchini is super exciting. Over here I have seeds, more apples. So these are Granny Smith seeds. And then I have these ones here, which are Gala, I believe. And then I also have some lemon seeds, which are in here. So I'm going to try to get all these going and germinating, get them ready. The lemon seeds can take around 10 days after putting them in a wet cloth or wet paper towel and in a baggie in the dark. They should crack open. There's a little skin on them. You peel back the skin on the seed and it helps along the germination process. And you kind of do that with apple seeds too, like picking away at the pointy end and helping for it to expose it and get it to germinate quicker. I also have peach seeds here that I'm gonna try to stratify and get them to crack open and get them ready for the season. Hungarian wild peach, that's what that one is. I have a bunch of other peach seeds already in the fridge stratifying, and hopefully those will crack open so I can get those going. I want to have a ton of trees for this spring to put in my yard and for my neighbors to put in their yards. I have a feeling that everybody's going to want to put trees in their yard this year. Something inherently just telling me that we're going to all want more food. So I'm going to have a bunch of those to get everybody ready. Stay ready, stay prepared. Something I'm doing new is these bins. I'm going to be putting dirt in them like you see, and I'm going to plant my seeds just directly in the dirt so that I'm not using trays as much or at all going forward, so it's more regenerative and less waste and no cost for materials if I can get away with this. So when they start to grow as little seedlings, sprouts, little starts, I'll go ahead and try to pop them out individually by grabbing it out of the dirt with the dirt, and then maybe I'll use like a spoon or something to kind of get in there, and I'll see what technique works the best and I'll figure it out. So that way I can just maybe put like a plant tag here and have one crop growing here, another one here, another one here, so get a few or more different crops in one of these bins as starts. And that definitely takes care of not having to have the trays any longer. Part of my big plan coming into the spring, it's all about making use of everything and being as clever and regenerative as possible. I'm focusing on saving and harvesting leaves, grass, strawberry greens, like these leaves on the strawberries, everything I can for my rabbits. I'm trying to get away from, and I will be getting away from feed pellets and transitioning just to grass and whatever I can grow and harvest for them. And this spring and summer, I'm going to spend a lot of time incorporating the strategy of saving every bit of what I can and drying it out and storing it up for the winter season going into next year. This year coming up, it's winter, and into the next year and further on and forever on. I'm going to go ahead and just harvest and store up like you would hay bales. But I'm going to find my own way of doing it and having grasses and greens and even beans, like bean leaves. I can clip those through the season little by little where it doesn't really make a dent, and I can just save those up. Same with the strawberry leaves. I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to just clip them away little by little. Whichever ones I look like I want to get at the time, I'll just slowly store them up and have them ready for the rabbits to eat through the winter. And I was thinking about potatoes and how important potatoes really are, and that's why it's going to be a big main focus of mine this season coming up, along with the winter squash. So because they're storage crops, and I can store them through the winter, and I can grow an abundance of them, so it's going to be a big focus, and it's a staple. So you think about like our ancestors had to do in the times of like the pioneering days, where things weren't as just in time, and you actually had to work for what you got, and it was an important crop, staple crop, and I'm going back to that focus is my transition going forward to growing essential staples, simplifying and getting bulk amounts and having those seed saving the storage crops over winter. And that to me is abundant. And with the animals, transitioning the animals to growing their feed so that I don't have to rely on a feed input, having to buy food for them. And then it's holistic and regenerative in nature, and then ultimately can be abundant if I put in the work. I'm about to take some of these beets out of here and just set them up in a little pot like this so that I can use this dirt. There's a lot of dirt in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then a few of them will go in there, and then the rest I'll just pick out and feed to the rabbits. Day 2 of the clones, so they are actually looking healthy, looking really pretty healthy. It's staying warm at 75 degrees, 76.2, 74.6 on this one, and then it is humid as heck, and I'm excited to see that they all come up. That would be sweet. All of them, every one of them do good. I'm definitely not going to use them all. I just wanted to do it right, and I will probably give as many as I can away. It's really cool is when I harvest, these ones are all staying small, but they've been growing for a long time. I leave a few shoots coming out, and then the bigger leaves I just continue to pick away and eat, and we all eat, the animals and I. And you can see they form and they get thicker, trunks or stalks or whatever you'd want to call it. It gets thicker and thicker as you grow, and makes for like a stronger plant, and they find their form. They position themselves accordingly with the space they got and the plants that are sitting around them. I'm watching the trucker Freedom Convoy live, and I had a thought. You notice, it's kind of funny, you notice how nobody's breaking anything? There's like, how many hundreds of thousands of trucks and like millions of people just surrounding the city, laying on their horns, playing their horns like music. This is music. It's music to my ears right now. This has been a long overdue, and it's not going to end or get any better until their demands are met, or we go to war, like Trudeau is hiding, because, well, he's probably preparing for war. I'm hanging another light right here. I got 2 in and 2 in here, and I can fit another one over here. And I got 2 that are in my grow room that I'm not using right now because I gotta do some work in there, so I can bring them out here and use all this dirt that I have right now and get a lot more stuff up under these lights. Under this one though, I'm gonna rearrange things, and I'm gonna put my pepper plants, and I'm gonna drop that light pretty close to them and give them a bit more light. It'll be closer than all the rest of the lights, so it'll be the closest to what pepper plants I have, and try to really get all those growing right here really good in this area as like my little pepper patch. Over here is the tray that I'm using just soil, and I'm doing sections to do seed starts. I'm gonna try it this way, and I put a couple holes in each row, and I got a few different things in here. We've got parsleys, basils, spinach, and what is that one? More spinach, kale, and rutabaga. So they're all in their own little spots, in their own little rows, and this should come up, and I should be able to just pick them out of there with like a spoon, and then I can transplant them, and I don't have any cost or any waste. I just put some beans here too. So these are bush beans. I'll be making aloe vera powder. The aloe vera leaves, I have a bunch now, and I got a bunch more plants coming in and growing up and getting bigger, and I want to be able to take the meat of the aloe vera, dry it out, and then break it down into powder. I'm gonna look and see if there's some videos, people doing it, and watch their techniques, so that I can build my own way of doing it, and then I can store that stuff up and have it just prepped away, so it's not in its living form but powder. And powder has utility too. It's good for the animals as well as it is for me, and just being able to store it up, I could seal it away.